So, you might have heard of the phrase negative thoughts quite a few times, whether it's in context of manifestation or just in general. And quite frankly, when I first heard of it, it confused me more than creating fear, whether or not my manifestation would come to fruition. Because what exactly is negative thoughts? What exactly counts as negative? Now, when I generally say negative, I can think of multiple things. For example, if I badmouth someone, that's considered negative in a social context. But in the context of manifestation, the only thing that counts as negative is self doubt. That's the only negativity that is related to the self. And if I were to be even more specific, it is those beliefs that invalidate our true powers as creator. So, for example, any belief that makes us think that powers lies outside of us, like the general narrative, the standard model of causality, the 3D reality, the idea of predestined fate, everything. So these are what we can call negative in terms of manifestation because it robs us of our powers. But in terms of morality, there is nothing quote unquote wrong from the perspective of I am or pure consciousness. So there's no external code that we must follow. There's no external entity who makes us accountable, who penalizes us for manifesting such and such and tells us that such and such is something that we should manifest and such are out of our bounds. So the model of reality, of conscious creation, is quite different from the ones that we are so used to in a 3D reality. For example, the schooling system where our teachers grade us and in offices our bosses judge us and either rewards us or penalize accordingly. So in terms of the universe, there's no such thing as an external authority. In fact, I know in law of attraction we think in terms of the universe, the higher self. Even those things are extensions of us. In fact, the conscious us, the limited us, is a very distilled fraction of this entire unlimited I. So there's no external entity who's judging the moral correctness of our desires. So Vadim Zeland in his book Reality Transurfing addresses this part, which is very crucial. I mean, I don't really remember any other teacher who addresses this exact specific thing about moral correctness. Now, I'm not saying that there's no consequences for your actions, but it's like you face consequences because there's this download, there's this pre-existing belief that we must be accountable to someone. So that is what is ultimately causing this thing called karma to change us, to makes us accountable to such thing. But what I'm also trying to address is that this holier than thou attitude of certain teachings, that certain wishes or desires are taboo, and that we might bring negative events into our lives if we were to wish for such and such. So the main idea is to convince ourselves of something that doesn't make sense to us. So that's the main idea of manifestation, right? That when you wish for something, it is something that you believe, but it is also something which doesn't really logically make sense to us. That's like all of our dreams are something that is out of our reach. I'm strictly speaking from a three-dimensional perspective. Like if you were to order a pizza, you are not really manifesting, even though you are not thinking in terms of conscious manifestation. you're not affirming for pizza or something. You're just placing an order like a normal person. So I wouldn't call that conscious manifestation. Even though that is, it's not like something that you wish for or you think. Now, I want to talk about the trouble with trying to convince yourself that you believe something that you don't. In other words, how do you manifest something that you want when you already have beliefs that are holding you back? The thing is, we all have beliefs. We've been collecting them since we were born, and those beliefs have created the life that we have right now. So if you want to change your life, you need to change your beliefs. But it's not as simple as just getting some new beliefs and ignoring the old ones. Like ordering new beliefs and just replacing the old ones like it's an old car or something. Your existing beliefs won't just go away on their own. Beliefs are not like shoes. You can't just throw them away. You just throw away the old pair and get yourself some new ones. You have to take the old beliefs and transform them into new ones. And that's not very easy, really. Now, I'm going to be really honest with you here. Even though, for motivational purposes, we say that it's extremely easy, but it's not. For example, if you believe that you don't deserve abundance in your life, you need to examine that belief. You have to look at where it came from, what trauma gave rise to it. You have to go to the source of that belief, whether it's being ignored by parents, growing up poor, or being bullied at school. And you have to face the pain of those experiences and heal it, and complete it. So facing your pain is pretty much what's known as accepting what has happened or your past. Acceptance is something that is quite different from fighting it. In fact, it's quite the opposite. In fact, acceptance is coming to terms with what has already happened. And it aligns perfectly with this standard 3D idea of facing the pain of your past experiences. So facing isn't like fighting, like you're facing an opponent in the ring or something, like you're struggling against it. But it's more like subtly accepting it, observing it, so that all the negative emotions associated with it slowly dissipates. We have to become clear on what survival strategies you developed to deal with those traumatic events, becoming invisible, never taking initiative, hiding, and you need to see how those strategies kept you small and hidden and constricted in your life, and as a result, prevented you from going after your dreams and creating the life you want to have. Only once you face all of this can you change it. Only then can you heal the pain, clean the trauma, reorganize your beliefs, and live life differently. Wishing on a shooting star and hoping that your whole life will change is a fantasy. Wishes don't heal trauma. Visualizations don't heal pain. Facing pain heals pain. Like I said, facing trauma heals trauma. You don't quote unquote get rid of your doubts. Your doubts are there for a reason. It's an indicator. Your doubts point to pain, to fear, to anxiety, to insecurities, to crippling beliefs. If you want to manifest something other than what you are manifesting right now, which is your current reality, which you're trying to manifest yourself out of, you need to address those beliefs. So, in short, changing your beliefs is not very easy, even though we tell you that we tell you for purposes of motivation. It requires facing the pain and trauma that gave rise to those beliefs in the first place. but it's worth it, even though the process is a little bit slow, maybe a little bit indirect. It's worth it in the end, and the rewards are a lot higher than the hassle, because only then can you truly manifest the life that you want. Thanks for listening, and I'll be back next time with more insights on how to create the life you want. Stay tuned.